What's up, everybody? Belligerent here with another Bloodline video. And in this video, we're taking on a new project. One of the things everybody seems to enjoy are lists, tier lists. I'm honestly not a giant fan of tier lists, but I am a big fan of what the tier list brings as far as the interaction that I get to have with the community. Discussing with people on YouTube and in Discord their thoughts about different champions. And as I've said in many of my videos, I know everybody disagrees with me. Well, not everybody, but I know a lot of you disagree with me, and I love seeing them in the comments. Sometimes some of those disagreements lead to a different perspective from me on some of the champions. A lot of times the disagreements just end up being, you like what you like, I like what I like. It doesn't matter. I enjoy the healthy debates. So I set out on a big project that's going to give you even more reason to disagree with me. So I set out to rank all of the champions. We're going to start at 58. We're going to work our way all the way down to 51. I hope you enjoy. Alright, let's get into it. Number 54, male Ugral. Male Ugral is just bad. Warrior class, just understand, warrior class in general is bad. Male Ugral, probably one of the worst. Not probably, is one of the worst. Not quite female Karg bad, but he's not good at all. His ultimate takes too long. He does this big flamboyant roar, and 9 times out of 10, by the time he finishes the roar and actually enters the state of his ultimate, which makes him immune to crowd control and gains lifesteal, he's usually dead, because he spent 3 seconds taking damage while he's roaring to do this ultimate. So he's just not that good. Warrior class in general is bad. So you're going to see a lot of warriors kind of low in these numbers. But male Ugral, not one I can recommend, especially when female Ugral, especially early game, is so much better. The only good thing that male Ugral, or the only thing male Ugral is good for, is warrior fodder. Ascending your warriors, because you get them through captives, you get them through exploration. So he's one of the free champions, really. You don't even have to summon for him. I don't have a lot of experience running him, because it was very apparent how bad he was. If I were going to run him, I would probably put some tankiness on him, so we're talking energetic and honorable. And then brutal, I think, would be brutal is necessary for most people. So, and then you could go a couple of ways, because his passive, I believe it's his passive, gives him attack speed for health that he's lost. So I don't know that agile is necessarily needed. You could run, but agile is an option. You could run focused. You might even try maybe like cutthroat. That would add to his lifesteal. But I think in general I would just run him tanky, and then probably run brutal and fierce on him would probably be my go-to. And that sounds weird. That's not one of my kind of go-to builds. But I think that when he does enter his ultimate, he does like this big X slash on everybody. And that can really chunk health. So if you can keep him alive long enough to actually get to that, then as much damage output as you can give, I think would probably be better than something like most people are used to, which is agile, which is replaced by his passive, or focused, which is, yes, going to trigger his ultimate more, but I don't know that I necessarily want that triggered that often, because it's going to be his strength, but it's not good for him to do often, because then he spends all his time roaring. So I would rather go for almost like one-shots on his big giant X slash that he does while he's in his ultimate state. Alright, number 53. Number 53, we're going female Elsdith. I had really high hopes for her. When they fixed agile, when we saw how strong attack speed was going to be, she has attack slow on almost everything in her kit. The problem is she's a marksman. She's single target except for the ultimate. But the attack slow does not have the impact I was hoping for. And because her whole kit is based around the attack slow, and the attack slow is not as impactful as it kind of that I thought it was going to be when I read through the skills, she doesn't do damage. She doesn't do a lot of damage, I should say. It's all basic attacks. So she's not really that good. Really bad marksman. So one of actually the worst marksman on my list. Okay. All right. If I was going to run her, what would I run her with? You would probably have to go focused agile, right? Because especially agile, you want the attack speed so you can be applying the attack slow as much as possible. You want to hit the ultimate, which will apply more attack slow. And then I would probably just go straight offense, brutal and fierce. Kind of the meta DPS build. I don't know that any of the other clan traits necessarily would apply, but I would definitely go. You could also use her as a control bot. She already has stun in the clan trait, so you could put a hex on her. I'm not a huge fan of hex. Some people say it works really well. I don't feel like hex works as well as it should. But if you had stun, you throw hex on her, so now you have stun and silence and attack slow, along with focused and agile. You could kind of turn her into a crowd control bot. That being said, she's not that good. I wouldn't recommend her. All right, number 52. Number 52, we're going female Sallyhorn. Okay. She has made it, honestly, this far in the countdown. Granted, it's not that far. Still bottom 10. But she's made it this far in the countdown just because there are so few tank options. I personally would play her over some of the other champions that we named if I needed frontline. Ultimately, she can absorb damage. She has a weird passive that seems to work really, really well for the campaign bot, but not really well when you're actually using her. Her ultimate is completely useless, but just kind of a soak up damage and take up somebody's attention. That's really all she's good for. The worst tank, in my opinion, although there's one you're going to see here in a second that I think is almost as bad as she is, which may actually shock you, but we'll get to that in a minute. If I was going to play female Sallyhorn, definitely just gonna try to make her a bullet sponge, right? So I'm probably gonna use Steadfast. Steadfast is the Gold Tongue clan trait. Gonna use Energetic. Gonna use Honorable. Probably not Loyal. Gonna have to throw a Brutal on there because Steadfast scales off of Strength. Okay, so we need to buff up her Strength. And then you could always, like, her ultimate is useless, so I don't even know that there's a point in doing focused or agile. But you could if you wanted to. I would probably go something more like a fearsome, which is the Elsdith clan trait that gives you the stun. Or you could do like a hex. You could even throw in the, what are they? The Zace clan trait. I forget exactly what it's called off the top of my head. Inventive, I think, is what it's called, where it gives you a chance at getting a shield every time you do a skill. You could do something like that. Those are maybe the traits that I would run with her. I wouldn't really run her unless I had absolutely no other tank. You're probably talking very early game. But those are the traits that I would run with her. So yeah, moving on. Number 51. Female Scorching Fire. Female Scorching Fire, I had such high hopes for. If you go back and watch some of my old videos, even some of my tier lists, I placed her high based on potential, what I thought she could be. I thought she was like a serious, just a battle mage, because she got really, really tanky when she took damage. She was quite often the last champion standing in my comp, even though those were early game comps. I really liked the 10 seconds of AoE. The problem with that 10 seconds of AoE is it's nuke. Like, you're already getting nuked by it. It's 75% strength. As where everybody else's ultimates are like 400, 500, 700, 900% of your strength. Hers is 75%. And it ticks off for 10 seconds. It's kind of a good cleanup mechanic. So if you have like your DPS and their ult hits and you have a bunch of people on low health, that could help clean them up. But just ultimately it doesn't work. And so let me tell you a little bit why, because I know that I can see it already. I'm probably going to get a lot of people screaming about this one. She's just not that good. When I did, if you guys go back to, actually it's a pretty recent video, the video I did right before I kind of went on hiatus, when I destroyed my 85 Vigor female Devala, and I started putting it on other champions just to kind of see what would happen. Female Scorching Fire was one of them. So I put an 85 Vigor female Scorching Fire on a team of other champions, one of which was a male Aeson. So I ran them through. I believe it was on a boss comp. I want to say like one of the raid bosses. I'm not sure. It might have been a full comp. But either way, at the end of the match, I looked at the stats. The maybe 10 Vigor male Aeson had outdamaged my 85 Vigor female Scorching Fire. She's just bad. Okay? The only thing that she is useful for is the 5-second silence. Like, it's a guaranteed silence. It's not a chance at silence, and I think it's the longest silence in the game at 5 seconds. The problem is you're giving up an entire champion and an entire kit just for a silence, and that's just not good. So I would rather take my chances on the 20% from Hex and just put it on everybody if I really wanted silence that bad. So yeah, number 51, female Scorching Fire. If I was going to run her, I would run her one of two ways. Either as a support, so you're talking Sanguine, Hulking, maybe Ardent, Cunning, some of those. You could throw in, I would probably definitely do Energetic and Honorable to make her even tankier. So there's some of that. If you wanted to, the other way, I would run her as just full tank. So Energetic, Honorable, Steadfast, and I don't know, maybe Focused, so she can kind of keep her ultimate up and running. Ultimately, I don't think she's a good champion, but if you wanted to run her, that would be some of my recommendations. All right, and the last one of this segment, number 50, we're looking at, and this one, I know I just said this about Scorching Fire, but I think this one will probably get the most argument from me, or argument towards me, disagreement, whatever. We're going with the male cow, male Orust. Just bad. I don't like him at all. I understand why some people want to. He's the new tank. He's bad. He's basically a reskinned male Karguk, but I think Karguk is better, and I'll tell you why. Karguk, when he does his ultimate, it taunts everybody, right? Orust, when he does his ultimate, it taunts everybody, or whoever he hits with it, right? Here's the difference. When Karguk does it, the damage he caused, which, by the way, I didn't know this until recently, male Karguk ultimate does 650% damage. That's one of the bigger ultimates in the game. From that damage, he heals instantly, which to me, he heals himself from whatever damage he's been taking. He's been taking damage because he's on the front line. That's how he was ready to do his ult. So he's been taking damage. He does his ultimate, and then he heals. And then he taunts everybody to attack him. Okay. Orust, on the other hand, does basically the same thing. Roars, taunts everybody, and then he heals afterwards based on how much damage he took. Well, guess what? A lot of times he's dead before that afterwards happens. I don't like male Orust. His active ability is a knockup. Knockups are useless. I don't even know what knockups are supposed to do. I have had my female Devala knocked up into the air and she stops and turns into a blood pool in the air and falls on everybody and then kills them all. Like, knockups don't stop actions. I think they can interrupt actions. I think if they're in the middle, I think I've seen this happen, if they're in the middle of an action and they get knocked up, it'll cancel the action. But it's not like a stun. So it has to happen in the moment that they are actually doing the action. Knockups are really bad in this game. Female Doom is another one. Like, if her ultimate was a stun instead of a knockup, she would be much higher rated on my board than she is because she just has that stun. Okay, but male Orust, I just don't like him. I know I'm going to hear some disagreements. I have seen some people put him as high as A tier. I think he's just bad tier. If I was going to run him, you're talking tank. So you're talking energetic and honorable, obviously. Then you could go focused. You can go focused and agile if you wanted to. Usually on units that are going to or are designed to take damage, I leave off the agile because they're going to get most of their energy coming from focused, coming from damage intake. Agile doesn't help you build energy if you're doing damage. But if you wanted to, you could go focused agile. I might go energetic, honorable, focused, and then you could go brutal because I'm sure his stuff scales off of strength. You could go steadfast if you wanted to. You might even want to go steadfast and brutal instead of the energetic. Because again, that steadfast shield scales off of strength. Okay. So, and in full disclosure, I haven't tested him with steadfast. Steadfast is relatively new. It came from the Goldtongue clan. He might actually, like, if you can get him when he's in his ultimate, when everybody else is doing their ultimate, and when he gets hit by the first ability, steadfast triggers and provides more defense, that might bump him up a little higher. But ultimately, I just don't like the fact that he does the healing afterwards. I want him to do it I want him to do it at the beginning, so he's as close to full health as possible, like male Karguk does. So when he taunts multiple units to attack him, he has maximum health. That's why I think Orust falls on his face, because he gets healed afterwards, but he's already half health or a third, or, 3/4 health, whatever, when he essentially triggers everybody to target him. I want a full health tank when they taunt somebody. Okay, so those are 54 through 50. I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you on the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend. I'm Belligerent. Peace.